Welcome to the part 3 of the Python for Data Visualization course. In this part, we are going to talk about categorical charts, advanced statistical charts, and also geospatial charts. Let's start coding. Let's start with categorical charts. So the first chart we are going to be talking about is going to be the count plot. And in this part, I'm going to write what these charts show in text. And for the starting point, count plot shows a count of how many times each category appears in a dataset. So a count of how many times each category appears in a dataset. And it's useful because it's perfect for categorical frequencies and is great for survey answers, gender distribution, or product categories. So for that, I will say import seaborn as SNS, and I will say import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. And I'm going to load the tips dataset, seaborn load dataset tips, and from here I'm going to say seaborn, and we are going to call the count plot, and I will say x will be the day in the tips dataset. So let me show you the data frame quickly. Here we are going to say that x is going to be the day, and data is going to be the tips. And let's give it a title like count of days, and I will say plt.show. So when I make this run, we are going to see that we have our count plot ready. Awesome. Our next chart is point plot, and point plot, and it shows category averages with points connected by a line, and it's often used with confidence intervals, and it's useful because it shows trends across categories, and it's useful when comparing averages. Okay, for that I'm going to use the tips data frame again, and I'm going to say seaborn point plot, and I'm going to pass x as days and y as total bill, and I will pass the data tips like this, and then I will say plt title average bill by day, and I will say plt.show, and here it is. And now let's talk about the strip plot. And actually it didn't came in the title format, so let me rerun this. Great. This one, each data point is shown as a dot along a categorical axis, and it's good for seeing row values, and it's useful because it shows distribution and spread, and it works well with data sets which are small. So I'm going to call the tips data frame again. We are going to use it. I will say seaborn strip plot, x will be day, y will be total bill, and data is going to be tips. Next, I'm going to say plt.title strip plot of total bill, and I will say plt show. So here it is. And the next chart we are going to be talking about is the swarm plot, and it's like a strip plot, but it prevents dots from overlapping, and it creates a clean visual distribution, and it's useful because it's great for showing exact data density, and it's more readable than a strip plot. So for that we will say seaborn and swarm plot. We are going to pass the x as day and y as total bill, and I'm going to say plt title, and let's give the title like swarm plot of total bill, and I'm going to use plt.show after that. So we got an error. Yeah, I didn't pass the data, so data will be tips. Now it's going to work well. Okay, great. Now we are going to talk about statistical charts, and we are going to start with regression plot. And this is a scatter plot with a fitted regression line. And it's useful because it shows relationships and trends, and it helps spot positive or negative correlation. And we are going to use tips data frame again, and I will say seaborn regression plot, x will be total bill, and y will be tip, and we will pass the tips data frame. Next, plt.title, let's give the title like regression plot, and I will use plt.show at the end. Actually, we got an error. Let me quickly check. Here, maybe I should pass this like data, and it's going to work out smoothly. Great. You can see the regression line in the chart right now. Okay, our next chart is going to be residual plot. And it shows like, it displays the difference between actual values and predicted values of a regression model. And it's useful because we can use it for detecting nonlinear patterns, and we can evaluate models quickly. So I will say seaborn residual plot. X will be total bill, and Y will be tip, and data will be tips. Next, I will say PLT title residual plot, and I will use plt.show at the end of this. So we are going to have something like this. Okay, now we are going to talk about joint plot, and it shows two variable relationship along with marginal plots, and it can show scatter, hexbin, or KDA. We can say seaborn joint plot, and X will be total bill, Y will be tip, and data will be tips. So we are going to have something like this. Okay, now the next chart is going to be phased grid plot, and it's the same plot repeated for different categories, and it's helpful for subgroup comparisons. Again, we will use the tips. I will say G, seaborn phased grid, tips column will be day. I will say G.map seaborn histogram plot and total bill, and I will say plt.show. So we are going to have something like this. You can see that same plot is repeated for different categories, like day equals to Thursday, day equals to Friday, day equals to Saturday, and day equals to Sunday. And it's showing future warnings, and they're not really important in this topic. So we can say import warnings, and then warnings that filter warnings, ignore. They are not really important at this moment. So when we make this run and we run the cell, we are not going to get an error, and we will get our plot. Awesome. Now we are going to talk about QQ plot, and it compares your data distribution to a theoretical normal distribution. Actually, theoretical, yeah. And it's useful because it detects normality, and it shows skew and outliers. So let's create the data for this, like 10, 12, 13, 15, 14, 18, 19, 22, and 25. And I will say stats. Actually, we need to make some imports. Firstly, I will say import scipy stats as stats, and then I'm going to say stats dot prop plot, and I'm going to give the data, and distribution will be normal, and I will say plot will be plt. Next, I'm going to give plt title QQ plot, and I will use plt.show. So we are going to have something like this. And next we have probability plot, and I'm not going to write a description for this because it's equivalent to a QQ plot, but it allows more control. And let me call the data. So how we can do that is we can say stats prop plot again, data plot will be plt, and let's give a title like probability plot, and I will use plt.show. So here it is. We didn't pass distribution as a parameter this time. Okay, now we are going to talk about geospatial charts, and let me create a note quickly. For geospatial plots, we usually need latitude and longitude. And let's start by choropleth map, and it shows regions, covered by value, such as population or sales. And for these charts, we are going to use Plotly. So I will say import Plotly, express as px. Next, I will say data frame, and it's going to be px data gapminder. And I will use that query. I will say year equals to 2007. So let me show you step by step what we are doing in here. So this returns a data frame like this, and with query after it, we are filtering the year where year is 2007 like this. So we are going to be creating a data frame in this format, and we will have this data frame after running this code. And now I will say figure, and I will say px coroplet. I will pass data frame, then I'm going to pass locations as ISO alpha. And next I'm going to say color, and I will say life expectation. Next I'm going to say our name, and it will be country. So after that I'm going to use figure.show, and we are going to have something like this. And when I move my cursor on the screen, I can see the actual values, and I can go around the map like this. Awesome. Here we can see that we can see values of US, Canada, and Turkey, Libya, Algeria, Spain, France, and much more. Okay, next we are going to talk about scatter map. And actually, let me fix the markdown. So I'm going to run this again, and we are going to have our correct markdown. Okay, it's points plotted on a map using latitude and longitude. And let's create it. So I will say data frame px data car share. So we are going to have a data frame like this. Now I will say figure px scatter map box. I will pass data frame. Latitude will be centroid latitude, and longitude will be centroid longitude. And I'm going to say size is going to be car hours, and I will say zoom equals to 10. And next I will say figure update layout map box style, and I will pass this as open street map, and I will say plt, not plt, figure.show like this. Here it is. We can see that our data is in here perfectly. And what we can do in here is we can zoom in, like using in here. We can see detailed values like this. Awesome. This is one of the beautiful charts that we can create with Plotly. Okay, great. Now we are going to talk about hex bin map. So it's geographic bins shaped like hexagons, and it's used for dense point clusters. So for that I will say data frame. Again, I'm going to load it out. So car share like this, the same data frame here. Actually, I'm running markdowns instead of code cells, so let me clear those out. Let me call data frame. Here it is, and we will say figure px density map box. We will pass data frame. Latitude will be centroid latitude. Longitude will be centroid longitude. Radius, let's say 20. You can change these values and see how the plot changes. Zoom will be 10, and I will say figure update layout again, and I will say map box style is going to be open street map, and I will say figure.show. So we have a hex bin map like this. Awesome. Now for the last chart of this video, we are going to talk about bubble map. And it's a scatter map where bubble size represents magnitude. And for coding it, we are going to say data frame px data. We will use gapminder, and we will use the query year equals 2007. So we will have something like this again. And I will say figure px scatter geo data frame locations will be ISO alpha and size will be pop and our name will be country, and we can say figure.show like this. So I'm going to make this run, and here we have our bubble map. You can see the bubbles in here like this. For example, let's go for China, and I'm going to zoom in. Here we can see our bubbles appears in here. And let's check another country, like here we have the US, and here we have the Nigeria, we have the Brazil, and much more in here, like United States in here, and we can see different countries like this. Okay, awesome. Thanks for watching this part. In the next part, we are going to talk about customization. Thanks for watching this part of the Python for Data Visualization course. If you want to watch the other parts, I'm going to create a playlist with them. You can reach to that playlist link from the cards of this video or from the links in the comments. Also, I'm sharing a new video every week about data science. You can subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Have a great day.